Welcome to WiseLink Academy. For today, we're going to be constructing that figure you're seeing at the right hand side of the screen in isometric projection. So whenever you hear the word isometric projection, from our previous class, I said whenever you hear the word isometric projection, your first task is to draw your isometric axis. So how do you draw that? Your first task is to draw horizontal line, right? Horizontal line in this form. I have horizontal line this way. I have it here. Horizontal line, then a vertical line, right, with the help of my set square. And the vertical line at this point upwards. Then I will take this in this form. I'll draw it down this way. The same way, I'll come to this side here. I'll draw it down the same way. Now, this is what we could refer to as isometric axis. Having considered all this, next task is that we need to observe from the figure the entire length, breadth, and height. My entire length from the question is given to be what? 78. So I'll measure out 78 with the help of my meter rule. As you can see, my arrow indicating. So from this point here to be 0, this is 0, right? 78, 75, 6, 7, 8. At this point, 78. Next up, my entire width is going to be what? 50, right? So measure out 50. From here to here is what? 50. So you can see. My entire height is given to be 10 plus 20 plus 14, which is 44 in total. So measure out for 44, perhaps 44 at this point, right? At this point is 44. So with these 3 points, I'm going to produce out a box, right? So how do you do that? I will extend this upward, come to this point, extend this upward. This is already extended. Next up, I'll bend it this way. I'll link this with this together. Next up, I will link this and this together. I will take these two together. Finally, I will close the box up. I'll close this part up this way. So I have the box at which that figure you are seeing is being got formed. Alright, proceeding. If you observe closely, I'll start by measuring my given, I'll start establishing my diameter, the given dimension. Observe that we are told that from here to somewhere here is 35. So with the help of my meter rule, measure out 35. So let's call this point 0. So write 0, 35 to this point, and it's ticking. I'll ticking it. Observe. I'll ticking it. Next up, I'm told that from somewhere here, distance of what? 58. So I'll come down here. I'll measure out 58, right? 55, 6, 7, 8, 58, and it's ticking. I'll ticking it the same way, same procedure. I'm given that the height is the height here of 10. So measure out 10, which is equivalent to 1 centimeter. I'll taking it and it's taking. So next up, I will join this with a faint line. Observe, please. Observe what I want to do. Take this with a faint line inward, and also a faint line to touch this. Then I will draw a vertical thick line to touch that faint line I drew this way. As you can see, I'll come to this point too. I'll draw a vertical thick line to touch that faint inclined line. Then I'll close it up this way. Next up, I will close this part here. I'll close it up. And finally, I will close this edge up. So I have this. So you can see what we're having. Next up, I will join these points to this together. Join these points to this together, as you see what we have at the right hand side of the screen. Now listen please, what is my next task? My next task is to extend this inward and extend this inward. How do I do that? With the help of my set square, I'll take this man here inward with a faint line and take this guy here to inward. Where they meet is at this point. At that point, I'll take it upward. So connect it upward this way. I have this. As you can see, right? Right. So I join this in and join this in. Where they meet is at this point. I take it upward. That's all. Now what do you do next? Observe from the diagram that from here to somewhere here is going to be 10 millimeter, perhaps 1 centimeter. So I'll measure 1 centimeter inward. So from here to here is the 1. So observe what I want to do, please. Observe what I want to do. I'll take this point to touch up here. Next up, I'll take that point, that same point here. I'll extend it downward to touch this, right? Next up, I'll take it down to touch this, and finally, I will close it up to touch this back. So I have this. These are that's like the technique there. So next up, if I observe closely, I'm told that from here there's an height of what 20 upward. So if I measure out 20 upward from here, right? 20 upward, here to here is 20, 20 upward, this is my 20, right? From here to here is now left with what 14, right? So that is my 20. I'll take this inward. Observe please, I'll take the 20 inward, the faint line this way. I'm told that from somewhere to somewhere here is 14. I don't need to measure 14. So I don't need to stress myself. With the help of my compass, I can just take from here to here, which is 14. I can just strike an arc here. Come to this point, strike an arc here. Right? So I have this. Right? So observe please. I will take this point down. I'll take this point downward. So taking this point here down and taking this point here down. So I have this as my 14. Next up, I will take this inward to touch the other one. Right? The same way, I'll take this guy here inward, touch this, and I'll take this inward to touch this, just to create as a box. I have this. Next up, I'll close this part together. So you can see what I'm doing. So I have this as the box at which that curve is being gotten from. My next task now is that at this point, I will join the longest diagonal together, right, using the principle of offset method. So what's the idea? I will join this center here to this center together. So that's what we call the principle of what? Offset method. Right? Oh, sorry. Before that, since we did from here to here is 14, right? Here to here is 14. Also, here to here is 14, right? So what we did here was a mistake. So the illustration will not be at this point. So I will erase this part here. Observe. I will erase this part. Now listen to what I want to do. I will take this this way. This is a 14 here. I'll link it together to this. So I will extend this one downward this way. I have this, right? So I have this. Next up, I'll take this together this way. So I have this, right? I have that. So observe that when you measure 14 here, take the 14 one, 14. Draw a vertical line, take 14 up, 14 down. So I have this. So what's like your next task? Your next task here? My next task is that if I observe closely, I can easily observe this, connect this with this center together, longest diagonal together. Having done that, I can just use my offset method or perhaps ordinate method of construction of circle. I'll take this down. I don't need to take, next up I need to take this down. Okay, let me just take it down for teaching purpose sake. So I have this. So this is what we call the ordinate method of construction of circle, right? So I need these 2 points, but there's no curve here. There's a curve here. So let me trace out that curve, right? So doing that curve out, I'll take this and this together, connect these 2 points together this way. I have this. As you can see the curve, right? So my next task now is that if you observe closely, I will also join the longest diagonal here together, right? I will join this point here and this point here together, right? I will transfer point, this point here touch this and this end point here touches outside here. So with that 2 points, observe this, with those 2 points, I will take my curve this way, right? I will extend it to that point this way. So I will take my French curve, my set square, and draw this line this way, right? So next up, I can just take my this set square here and just make a faint curve this way at this point. Observe, faint one. Then I will take this point here, observe this one, to touch the tip of that faint line I just drew the thick line. So where I place this was here, right? So it does connect them with a thick line this way. I have this, right? Next up, the same thing applicable to this. I'll come to this edge. I will link them to the faint line such that I'll take this other point here to touch the tip of this faint line I just drew this way, so I can just easily close point up. So I have this, right, without stress. So you can just take this down this way and then close this up this way. I have this. Next up, I can easily take in this part as illustrated from the question. So my next task here now is that there's a smaller circle at the center here. So how do I construct out the smaller circle? My first task there is that I'm given that there's a distance from here to somewhere here to be what? 24. So measuring out 24 with the help of my meter rule, 24, that is from here, observe, from here, this is 0, 24 at this point. So I will take that point inward, this point here, take it inward with a faint line. Next up, I'm given that from here to somewhere here is 18, right? So measuring out 18, I'll have that from here, this is 0, 0, 15, 16, 17, 18 at this point. So with that 18, I'll take it inward such that it will pass through that line. This is the center of the line, right? At that center, listen please, at this center here, here's what I need to do. I'm giving a bigger circle and a smaller circle, as you can see. The bigger circle has a diameter of what? The bigger circle has a diameter of 18. So hence, I will get the radius, which is 9. So measuring out 9, from here, this is 0 to 9, somewhere here. So measure out 9. So take that 9, 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4. Right, this way. Next up, I will now take my set square. I'll take this way. I'll join this faint line. I'll join this one too with a faint line. Next up, I'll take this to join this, and I'll take this to join this way. Right? So I will project point down. Take this downward. Come to this point here too. I'll take this one. Observe. I'll take it downward this way. Next up, I'll take this point here too. Take it downward. Next up, I'll take this inner part here too. Take it downward. Why am I taking it downward? I'm giving a thickness of what? 3. As you can see my arrow indicating. So measure out 3 with the help of my what there. I set my meter rule. From here to here is 3. Right? This is my point 3. So I'll transfer that point 3. I'll distribute it throughout this. So next up, I'll take it to this. Next up, I'll take this to this. And finally, I'll connect it to touch this way. So if you observe very well, I have two stuff there. Right? I have two stuff there. So first task, let's take for the upper one. I'll join the longest diagonal together, right, using my offset method as we discussed, right. Next up, I will come to this point, at this point here, this edge point here. I will end it. I'll draw a curve this way. Come to the other end here. I'll draw my curve this way, right. Next up, I will take this edge from here to here, and from here to here, right. So this point here, and this one here, I mean these 2 points, this and this. Let's start with this. I'll connect the curve together, right. I'll connect the curves together this way. So this way, I have this. Next up, I can easily connect this one together with this. Let's connect them together this way. I have this. That's the topper, the bigger topper circle there. So the same way, I'll come to this bottom, this one here. You know, you have, this is a point here, 1 and 2. This second one down here, I'll come down here, right. This down one here, I'll go to the topper one here, bottom one here. I'll strike an arc this way, bottom part this way, right, this way. Observe what I'm doing. I'll take it down that way. So I said you should come to this point here, and strike this arc I did here, right? So I haven't done that. My next task is that, observe please, I will transfer point. The way I join the longest diagonal for the top, I will join the longest diagonal for the bottom too, here to here, together with a faint line this way, right? So I'll transfer points to make my work easy. I'll take this point here to touch that one I did now, and I'll take this one too to touch this one I did now, right? So with the help of my compass, this point here, I will link it up to this one with a faint line to make a curve, and this point here too, this one, I will link here off with a curve this way. So with the help of my T-square, I will join this to this together, and I will join this to this together this way as the given curve. So my next task now is that, having done this, there's an inner circle here of what? Of radius 12, which I'll measure what? 6, 6. Of diameter 12, so measure 6, 6. So from here to here is 6. At this point, take it 1, right? Let's stop. At this point, center 2. Next stop 3, and 4. Without stressing myself, I can easily take my French curve, right, to create a smaller hole there. So trying the one that fit in. So fit in. This might fit in. So I have to gauge it. I think it's fitting, right? Fitting. So I will draw the curve in this manner. So I have this, right? I have this. So if you have found this class helpful, do not forget to click on the subscribe button and like. Thank you. Welcome to WAEC Academy.